Char! So just finished watching Mobile Suit Gundam Char's Counterattack the motion picture. I'm not positive if this is the first Gundam motion picture or not. To be honest, I wasn't as confused as I thought I would be. Going into this, I watched a bit of Gundam Wing back when I was younger. It came on Toonami. I watched Gundam Wing. That was the only Gundam I ever watched. I didn't watch any of the original Mobile Suit Gundam. I've always liked Gundam, the franchise and everything. I've always thought it was really cool. It's really, really awesome. What's the term? Is it space opera? I don't know. I don't remember the precise term for movies and shows and everything that create their own pretty much universe in a similar fashion that Star Wars did, and with all these really cool innovations that they do. But Gundam has always been a really cool one, I've always thought, and even though I don't know much about it. Now that being said, you actually don't need to know a lot about the original Mobile Suit Gundam series in order to watch this movie and understand what's going on, which I thought was a really big accomplishment on their part. It takes place, the story takes place 15 years after the end of the series, I think, is what it says. The movie was released in 1988, I think. I'm pretty sure. And yeah, other than not really much actually. I didn't need to know like the history and everything about what's been going on, because whatever information you need to know for this movie is told in this movie. So apparently there's political struggle going on. And people on Earth are pretty much the ruling... Earth is the ruling... I don't want to say faction, nation, or something. They rule the colonies and everyone out in space and everything. And apparently there's a group out in space, led by this guy named Char, who believe that Earth is treating the colonies and the space fleets and everything unfairly. Just sitting down on Earth, not really even exploring or examining these colonies, just ruling from a distance without ever like setting foot on them. And apparently this big rebellion's come up, and now there's a war breaking out. The voice acting, to be honest, I haven't seen much anime from the 80s and whatnot. I haven't seen much, but from what I have seen, this might just be the best I've heard. Seriously, wasn't expecting it to be that great of a voice acting, because, to be honest, voice acting has taken a very giant leap since 2000, in my opinion. Like, ever since the new millennium and whatnot, voice acting has been taken more seriously. I think that's what I'm trying to say. And before that, you could have some good voice acting, especially original Japanese and whatnot, but although I can't really judge that, I don't know what they're saying all the times. But it's rare when you get some really, really good and notable voice actors from older anime, at least in my opinion. A lot of the English voice acting is either mediocre or alright. This was a little higher up on the scale than alright, I think. It was alright to listen to. There were no painful voice acting. There's no painful voice acting in this. The closest thing was this little girl, well, not really little girl, young teen girl, who, by the way, got pretty obnoxious, but I didn't want what happened to her to happen to her. I didn't like her. I kind of started feeling bad for her, and then something happens to her, and I'm just not happy with that. There was a lot of sadness in this, like quick moments of like sadness. It's a war, so I think that's what it captured really well. It's a war. There's a war going on, and what it really seemed to capture was that if something bad happens in the battle, you can't just sit there and mope. You have to just move on, and they never focused on any of these bad things. Like, there are, I guess, main characters from the series, I'm guessing, dying in this, and if that's the case, they just like dead take like a minute or two, and then you have to keep going because there's a battle. And I think that was a really cool thing. I might be reading more into that than the intention, but I thought that captured that. Because there is a time for mourning, but not in the middle of a battle. So I thought that was really nice. The characters were alright. They did give backstory into the relationship between the main guy. I can't remember his name. It is Amuro, the pilot of the Gundam, and Char, because apparently they do have a history, and I'm pretty sure it must have been in the show somewhere. They showed flashbacks, so I'm guessing it was in the original series. And it got interesting to find out just how connected these two are, even if Char turned out to be a bit of a weirdo in the end. It ended, don't want to say happy, well it did, it ends happily in a way that, yeah, everyone's not going to die, but being someone who hasn't watched the original series going into this, there was only a handful of characters that I managed to grow attached to. Half of them ended up dead, and I'm watching this like, this is sad. Why is this so sad? I don't like sad. The animation quality was really stereotypical Gundam, at least from what I've seen in Gundam Wing. I don't know if it got a like boost in animation from Mobile Gundam the series to Gundam Wing, but from what I've seen with Gundam Wing, this seemed about on the same par as that. My only problem is that the style. The Gundams and everything are cool. The space fights are cool. The ships are awesome looking. The battles are amazing. There's constant giant circles of explosions that are very, very prone to being in Gundam. My only problem is what I have a problem with most early anime. When I say early anime, I mean anime that was like coming out to America late 80s, early 90s-ish. I can't stand the way the people look. I've never been able to. I think they look stupid to me. I know that's not fair. It's not fair. It's just my preference and style and whatnot. My preference is, and this could be because I did take a leave of absence from anime for about 5 years or so. But my preference, I like things more smoothly. I like color. I like a lot of color, and the people just don't appeal to me. The designs and everything, I don't like the people. And the characters are fine, it's just the way they look makes me think these look really weird. Yeah, I know I can't draw better, probably I can't, but they look really weird. An example, I like styles like Spice and Wolf. I like that kind of style and everything, where you can tell that, yeah, it's a person, but yeah, it's also anime. And this, again, is just me, just my opinion. There's nothing wrong with it, I just can't like it. I can't find it in me to like the style of the humans. The Gundams and everything, they looked amazing. They looked just as great as usual. The fight between Char and Amuro, I keep pulling up the movie, Amuro was actually really fun. It got really good because it went from gunfights and these really cool things. What are they called? Hardcore Gundam fans, if any of you watch this, will probably be able to point me in the right direction here. They're like these. Apparently, there's pilots and all that who can use pretty much psychic energy because once we went out into space, the other half of our brain kind of unlocked, and they're able to control these little drones with their mind and tell them where to attack and all that. And so, like, the first part of the battle is them just duking it out using these drones and trying to dodge all the drone hits and all that. And then they go into gunfiring and everything. And then when that's done, they go into a bit of sword fighting. But then they get out of their machines because they're on this asteroid thing that's hurtling towards Earth, and one of them's trying to deactivate it, and one of them's trying to stop him. So they go from that to a gunfight in this thing, back into the suits, where more sword fighting, and it got all over the place, and I loved that. That was really awesome. I did question why when one of them was out of their suit, the other one just didn't destroy the suit while he was gone. I did question that, but that's a nitpick at best. The music was almost non-existent. At least I didn't notice any, really, other than the credits and everything. Other than that, I didn't notice any music. The sound effects were very stereotypical 80s sci-fi sound effects. I'm pretty sure I caught a few things that I've heard in Alien, or Aliens, in there, and I had no problem with that. It just sent me into a sci-fi nostalgia craze, so that felt great. But yeah, final verdict, if you can get a hold of this to watch it or rent it or anything, and you are into Mobile Suit, even if you don't know much about it, this one is worth taking a look. It's actually a pretty good plot. A lot of political struggle, a lot of characters changing, a lot of getting attached to some characters and stuff happening. And yeah, I don't know if there was a movie made after this. I'm going to look up to see if there was a movie made after this, because there's got to be some aftershock for this main character. I mean, seriously, some depressing stuff happens that I don't think he knows about during the battle, because he wasn't precisely at that point. But it's stuff that, like, when you think, like, if he finds out about this after the fight, he's going to have some serious trauma, because it's some bad stuff. It's a war, so horrible things are going to happen. There is a lot of death in this, which, yeah, there's quite a bunch of death in Gundam typically. Again, I'm more used to Gundam Wing, and the most of Gundam Wing that I remember is from a VHS I have where Zex is in the Epion. The main thing I can remember is a giant space station's about to, like, shoot, like, just giant cannons and everything, blowing everything up. And in the final part of it, Zex, who's flying the Epion Gundam, that's the red one with the wings and the whip, pulls out his little lightsaber and cuts the space station in half while the awesome theme song is playing. It's that Rhythm Emotion, which is one of my favorite pieces of music from an anime. If you haven't heard it, check it out. But yeah, if you can get a hold of this, I recommend it. I picked it up at the anime con for about $12, and it's got a really nice case too. So I'm happy with that. Yeah, that's about it. I should have a series as the next one. I know I've been doing a couple movies, but I should have another series done by the next time, because the play is starting to calm down and I'm starting to get a little bit more time. I started a new series, so that might be the next one. And I don't have many more movies. I don't really have many more. I have the OVAs of Sakura Wars, but that's it's the second OVA. So it's a sequel to the original OVA slash series, because I'm pretty sure there was the series, and then the first OVA was like a quickened version of the series. I'm not sure about that, but I'm going to have to check it out. If it's anything I can skip to get to the OVA 2, other than like this. I didn't need to watch Mobile Suit Gundam to know what's going on in this. But yeah, till next time.